TradingNut, episode 24.
I know that price will react to very specific price is, right? That's how I'm getting the trades with zero drawdown, maybe 2 or 3 pip drawdown.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never, ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the TradingNut podcast. I'm your host, Cam Hawkins, and today we've got a slightly different kind of interview for you again. I've brought back my trading mentor, Stewart, on the show from Chart Artist Trading. Now, if you don't know Andre's story, then jump back to episode 88 of the 52 Traders podcast, and you'll hear most of it there. But he's been on the show a bit because he, A, is my mentor, and B, came through the show way back in the beginning where he was, as part of an experiment, that he was a struggling trader, and sort of 9 months later, he'd managed to turn it all around, and it's gone from strength to strength, and is now, let's call him a six-figure trader. I think he's at least a six-figure trader. I don't even know if he's maybe even more, but you hear about some of these six figures in the show today. So, guys, right, we're going to talk about my trading as well. So, I've got him back on here because I want to talk about my trading, where I'm at, how I'm getting on, and I'll give a sort of raw and honest view of where things, what's going right for me, what's going wrong for me, and potentially a way forward as well. So there's that. Then there's also, we talk about market manipulation. So manipulation in the markets. What does it mean? Who's doing it? Does it exist? What's the reality? And we're sort of probably more focused on the Forex markets. That said, I've got a guest coming up soon that talks very much about manipulation in the stock market, so stay tuned for that. Then we also go on about the industry educators out there and sort of what's going on in the industry, and it's a raw conversation around what you guys can look out for, trying to help you sort of make the right decisions in that space. So we do talk about in the interview about doing a video session, but unfortunately, just because of timing, we haven't managed to get it ready, and I don't know if we actually will. So I'm sorry about that, guys. We're not going to be able to get a video for you up on the YouTube channel with this interview. The interview will be up on the channel though, so do go over there and subscribe. And whilst you're thinking about that, also, what I'm doing now is I'm popping up a few odd little bits and bobs. In actual fact, they're sort of teasers and announcements on my Instagram account. Okay, so the TradingNut Instagram account, if you want to go and follow that over there on Instagram, then what you're going to see are some of the notes that I've been taking from the guys that have been on the show. That I'm interviewing them and I'm taking my notes. You're going to see those notes. You're going to hear who's coming up next. You're going to see some trades that my robots are taking as part of the Robot Traders Club, and you're going to hear some more sort of insider stuff from TradingNut. So check out the feed, check out the stories being posted as well. Guys, hopefully you're going to enjoy it. Head over there, Instagram. I want to see those follower numbers jumping up after you guys listen to this week. Now, last but not least, and this is a sort of fairly major thing, I will be in Malaysia, okay? I'm going to be in Kuala Lumpur the week that this goes live. So if you listen to it on the Monday, there's a chance to meet up with me on, what day of the week is it? It's Wednesday evening. So if you are listening to this, as soon as it goes live, there's a chance to meet up with me on Wednesday night in Kuala Lumpur. If you are keen, then flick me an email, cam@tradingnut.com. And hopefully, if we get a bunch of you, then maybe we can do something a bit special. Let's see who comes back. So if you're there, if you're in Asia somewhere, want to meet up with me, then Kuala Lumpur Wednesday night, and that is on the 6th of March. Okay, guys, it's a whirlwind trip for me, there and back in a week, within the week, so I'm going to be pretty tired. So, guys, hit me up if you're keen on that. on the email. Without further ado, let's get on with the show today. Right, guys, so we've got my mentor, trader from the US on the show again, Andre Stewart. Welcome back, Andre. How's it going?
You know what? It's great. Going through a lot of family issues, but the point of it is still to move forward. It's never linear. Everything's great. Trading's never been better. Now we're just ironing out real life.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, at the end of the day, is when all's said and done, that life is not just all about making money and in our case, like being in the markets and all that sort of stuff. Life goes on. The rest of the stuff all just happens. It's normal. I'm there as well, mate. Look, I've got two girls who've been at home for seven weeks and are now back off at school, and kids throwing up with 10 minutes to go before the end of the school day, and like they've only been back a week, and then next minute she's been told she has to stay home for 2 days. So it's like just pulling my hair out, going, any chance of me getting on? And then she wants to play Roblox all the time, so she wants to be on the computer.
It's funny. One of those mornings, my son threw up all over the kitchen table before school. And he looked at me and said, and had a proud dad moment. He said, "Dad, I'm not trying to miss my learning." And he's 5. And he threw up all over the table. I cleaned it up. He cleaned himself up, and then he went to school. And you couldn't even tell. Proud moment of that little guy right there.
Brilliant, superb. Well, I mean, our school said, look, you got to keep her off for 2 days, and it's like, okay, fair enough. I think the other kids have been sick as well. Something was obviously going around, but look, it's the interruptions in life that just happen, and it's the nature of the beast, right? And I'm sure everyone out there listening has got some issues that they're having to deal with in the background that they don't really sort of go and tell every man and his dog about. So look, guys, we're not going to go on about myself and Andre's personal problems the entire show, so we might jump back in there now and again. But we're gonna touch on a whole bunch of stuff. Number one, we're going to touch on my trading. Number two, we're going to touch on Andre's sort of view on what he's seeing out there in the marketplace at the moment. Not necessarily the markets, but just in the trading space. And then also, like, we've had quite a few. We've had a lot of people talk about market manipulation, so we'll go into that in a bit of detail as well, and get your views on that as well, Andre. And then I think if we get time, we'll do a little chart time at the end, and I think you guys will have to jump onto the YouTube channel to check that out. But so looking forward to the chat, and we're going to start off with my trading and giving you guys an update of the roller coaster ride that is my trading. Which it is. So, I mean, to be honest, as I've said, like, the Christmas break was just a nightmare with the family around the whole time, and me not at work, which was funnily enough, like, I used to have this routine where I'd be off to work and coming back. So, although I had a lot of extra time, I didn't necessarily have a lot of extra time that I wasn't being pestered every 2 seconds. Being asked random questions about, where's the salt and all that sort of stuff. So I didn't, so I got to a really good place just before Christmas. Then it hit, and it fell apart. So I was feeling uber confident with the style that I had picked to trade at that point in time, and then came back after Christmas, all geared up to go for it. And I thought I literally felt like I'd cracked it. And you know what, Andre, I can't even remember what it was now. I can't even remember what the style was because I've changed it 4 times since.
I remember it.
You remember it? What?
I remember it.
It
was GJ, and you were plotting out areas of rejection.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. And I was doing well. I was doing really well, and I was focused on one pair, and I was. I was getting good. I mean, if guys are in the group, they've seen some of the trades. There was some really good, high reward, very, very low risk trades. Like, I mean, we're talking 5 pips on GJ, which was just stupid, and making 40. And I was doing that on a regular enough basis. Yeah, there were some entries that I shouldn't have done. It took me a while to get into the day. So, like, if I'd held off a bit, I probably would have had a better end result. Instead of like going, okay, I've held off long enough, I've been patient enough. That could be a setup, but without really waiting for it. And I realised that, and I thought, okay, I'm in a good space. I just need to wait a bit longer. I need to wait for certain times to happen, like London Open and that sort of thing, before I enter. And I was in a good spot. And then the start of the year hit, and that tank of GJ with a 1,000 pip move in one day. And we can talk about the manipulation there because I've heard various things.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, actually, let's start off with that and getting. Actually, before we do, let's just finish my story off here. And so I ended up. What did I end up doing? Well, yeah. So then I was like getting that back on track, sort of trying to work with that particular bit of price action was very difficult for me because it's something I hadn't seen before, and I didn't really know where everything was sort of positioned at that time, and it just made it really hard for me. So I struggled for a few days, and then I gradually thought, maybe I need to try something different. And that's when I started trying something different, and to the point where, like, I just haven't had enough time in the last few weeks to really give it due diligence. And I've stepped back, moved on to demo, and I'm actually spending a lot more time in the back tester, which I'm really happy about. And I think that is just a good sign that I'm spending time on the back tester again and trying things out without like trying to place trades in the market. That said, I look at my price chart and I've got like 7 currency pairs up, and I'm going through each of them on the demo. So yeah, I'm still experimenting. Let's put it that way. I haven't quite found it and I'll tell you the one key lesson for you guys out there is if you don't backtest properly, if you go through and look at the price chart and go, oh, that's an entry, that's an entry, that's an entry, you can so easily get faked out going forward when you're actually in the thick of it, when you're at the hard right edge of that chart. It's so easy to go, well, actually, that looks like the entry, when in actual fact it's not. So that's what I'm trying to get my head around at the moment, which I feel that with a bit more dedication to this, I'll get there. And right, changing tact, Andre. Mm-hmm. What about this market? What about this drop in GJ at the start of the year that just took everyone by surprise? I interviewed a guy called VP not too long ago, and he had a blog post, which I think I talked about in a previous episode, where he sort of explained how his theory was it was straight out manipulation versus what I've heard before. So let's hear it, mate. What are your thoughts?
So, I mean, the fact is the fact, right? The actual truth of it was price seeks liquidity. Price literally seeks liquidity, right? Now, here's the thing. If most people knew how to freaking tell what the directional bias for a day or a week would be, or even a month, they would have been short, right? And I'm not saying I'm God's gift to trading, because last time I thought that I literally lost $200,000 in 2 days. And I told you that story. And we can get into that too. But all that happened was price was expecting some liquidity to be there, and it wasn't. So what does price do? Price sought liquidity at the next logical level. Next logical level. Now, I was on the right side of GJ, Cable, and AJ, and New Zealand yen when that price spike happened. But when that price spike happened, I found the level that it stopped at. I was like, yep, the down move is over, right? Take your profit. All that happened was price went to the next best area of liquidity where it was at. Now, why does that happen? There was probably a pocket of limit orders right there, right, that got absorbed, and it wasn't enough. It literally wasn't enough. Well, I've learned through the tape. It was literally limit orders there that were not enough to stop price. I even think that institutions were expecting price to stop there too. Literally were. And it didn't happen. And it's not anyone trying to take out retail trader stops and none of that trash that people talk about because they don't understand how price actually works. The level for where the spike stopped was very methodical, right? and it was literally at a level where price seeks liquidity. So once that major spike happened, again, people probably thought that price was going to go forever, probably went short, and guess what happened? I don't even want to say reversal, but the direction changed. The direction went long. And that's what happened. Price was expecting a pool of limit orders, not retail stops, limit orders to be there, and it didn't happen. That's it. It's logical.
And so what do you reckon about these guys that feel that it was a play by the banks to go, right, we're going to do this now and again to essentially just, rape and pillage the civilian population and, hit their profit targets for the year at the start of the year on day 2 of the year?
And that's the thing too. That's price seeking liquidity. It's day 2 of the year. And again, people, I can't give that away, but I expected that to happen because of there's certain things that happen on a fractal basis, right? Excuse me, on a daily, on a weekly, and on a monthly basis. What you saw, and even a yearly basis, right? What you saw was a natural process for the market. It was literally a natural process for the market, right? People probably won't even go back through the data to see how often it actually happens at the beginning of the year, right? People aren't going to do the necessary work, right? So then what's going to happen? They're going to come up with all their crackhead theories about price and, the banks did this, the banks did that. Banks don't trade. Banks take very few trades, literally very few trades. Banks hold positions based off interest rate differentials and other factors. Banks are dealers. Banks literally are dealers. Okay? Banks, listen, retail stop losses do not cover anything big enough to satisfy an institutional order, right? They trade in the billions. Retail stops will barely make 7 to 8 figures. So it's not enough. And that's the actual truth. But here people will talk about trading like out of their own perspective, right? Because they were losers at one point. And anyone who trades retail, like myself, was a loser at one point. Let's call it what it is. So they justify their lack of knowledge by making up dumbass theories. Oh, price did this because the banks want to run the stops and this. It doesn't happen. There's no magic man behind the curtain saying, yep, screw retail today, right? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. If it happens, you're being B-booked. But that's up to you to figure it out if you're trading with the broker that has an A model or B model. And if you just read the fine print on the broker's website, it will tell you if they have a B model or an A model. Sometimes they have both. And you have to give the broker a crap ton of money, usually 6 figures, to be on the A side of the book. If not, you're being B-booked. It's that simple.
And okay, so that's it's, I suppose, yeah. So what are the guys out there that are on the fence and they're going, well, I've heard this manipulation theory, I've heard your theory now. How can somebody feel like confident that, okay, I feel more confident now that this is how the market works? Because I think people are going to go away and go, okay, well, I went off and read VP's article, or I went and saw, I took some more information from If My Auntie and his episode where he was talking about, the Empire going in there and basically doing the same thing, and that could have been one of their trades. How's somebody going to clarify, or I suppose seek proof in their mind that that this is, that what you're saying is true, or that can dispel any sort of theories around manipulation?
When the masses know something, it's typically wrong, right? Now, I'm not going to discredit anything about If, because I think If's a freaking phenomenal trader. What makes it work is he's very good at selling low and buying high, right? VP, I'm not going to discredit what he's doing for the Forex community because it's good. It's good. I have no clue if he's profitable or not, right? I've seen some of his stuff on the on YouTube. And I think it's good what he's doing for the trading community, right? But you know me. We talk a lot. I'm a truth seeker, right? I don't want anybody's theory. Like, screw your theory. I need to know what goes on behind the scenes, the engines that make price run, the engines that make price literally work. That's what I need, right? I sought the truth. I was lucky enough to find a few people who were on the inside to help guide me. Cost me a pretty penny, but it was worth it. It was literally worth being broke as hell for 2 years to get it, to literally get it. Because I don't, even in my personal life, I don't go off theory. I need to go off truth. That's how I am. So there's no difference when it comes to trading. I needed to learn the truth. I needed to learn how price worked. When price moves 50 pips, well, why? Right? And I learned that. Right? And I've learned from some very high-level people, Chris Laurie being one of them, and a couple other guys who just have worked behind the scenes and don't want to be named. And I respect that. People need to seek the truth. And the funny part about it, they go to YouTube, they go to Google, all that other stuff. It's not on there. It's not on there. If people would just take a non-biased look at charts, the answer, it's all there. It's all there.
I think what might be quite useful is the YouTube video we do. Maybe we could just have a quick look at that particular day, and then I don't know. You can talk to that, or maybe we can have a look at some other times in the past as well, or something like that, and just go over it for the guys so they can see. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you can actually see it, and then Andre can probably he'll be able to mark up a few other things on the chart so that you can actually sort of maybe have a different view of it again, and then as he said, seek the truth to what exactly is going on. And it's not going to be on YouTube probably.
Yeah, it's not. I look every day, and it's not out there.
So on that, and on sort of educators as a whole and the industry as a whole, I mean, you've been. I mean, we haven't had a good chat about this in a long time, but I know you've been sort of like checking things out recently. I mean, what are your sort of views at the moment? What are your conclusions?
If the person you're looking to learn for is flashing cars and stupid shit on the internet, they're a marketer. They're not a trader. And I'm not saying that to say, because look what you're being sold. You're being sold the promise of a dream to own a Lamborghini, or to own a Ferrari, or to own a Rolls Royce, or to own a mansion, right? And I get it. We all have wants and desires. I get it. But that you are literally being sold your dream by someone else who has sold the dream to other people to get his dream, or her, right? Because I don't want to discriminate. It's equal. Now, every time I see a trader who does this, I look up their background. How do I look up their background? There's ways to do it. And you just go see all the little games they play with people and all this other noise. And then this is what I do. I seek out people from their organizations, and I ask them, hey, what's this about? And the floodgates open. And it's like, damn, can you trust anybody? And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Now, if you look at my Instagram or my Twitter, it's mainly just dumb stuff that I do with my wife, like stupid faces, and because I don't take the internet too seriously. I think the internet's actually kind of funny. And charts. It's not, hey, go to chartartisttrading.com and sign up for Mint. No, who cares? If you can decode what I do for my charts, you do it. Probably won't, but you do it. And you need to reverse engineer someone who's profitable. You have to reverse engineer it. I reverse engineered so many traders' trading styles and decoded it, and didn't use any of it because it doesn't identify with how the market actually works. Or you decode their style and be like, oh, you posted a long, it went short right after you posted that long. So you either made 1 pip, or your lifestyle is a lie. Plain and simple.
Yeah. And I mean, on that, like I watched one of the VP's videos, funnily enough, where he was talking about how guys do go about scamming, retail traders out there with, accounts that they post the trades and they have like 12 people, 2 groups of 6, and they post the trades, and basically one's a buy, one's a sell, and they either one group goes, "Oh, you're a genius. I'll give you whatever money you want," and the other one goes, the other group goes, "Oh, well, can I have my money back?" Or like, I'm gonna leave you. See you later. Bye. And then he takes those 6 and he does it again and breaks the group from 6 to 3 to 3 to 2 to 1, and he might get people like sticking around for ages, paying them the money, and he's just. I think it is. It is, it must be on a live account, demo account, whatever, but it's obviously a way that people out there are duping people, and it's the flashy Instagram things.
It's a lot of MT4 on mobile too. Like, I post my actual MT4 from my desktop. And again, here's the thing. You see a trader on Instagram flaunting MT4 with 100 lot stacked positions, they're full of it. They're full of it. And you can't do that in MT4.
And you know what? The funny thing is, and what sort of, I suppose, highlights everything here is that, and I think, I don't know, you're probably slightly different because you're on the show from the very beginning when you were actually struggling. And, I've been able to track your journey across the whole way. So it's not like it's not like you didn't have a profile beforehand. Whereas, like, the guys that are in your group, and it sort of annoys me a bit because they become successful, and it's like, oh, great, let's get you on the show, and they don't even want to be named. They don't want to. They're like, now I'm invisible. I've cracked the code. Now I'm invisible. Please, everyone, leave me alone. Do not come and speak to me ever again.
And it's tight. It's tight within the group too, right? Because they'll help out people in the group who are struggling. But then even with you. You cannot copy what someone else does to the T. You have to do it, and you need to learn how price works. And then you have to adapt it to how you see the market. And if and only if at that point you want to add indicators to your chart, you do it. But only after you know price from a back-end perspective and from an intimate perspective that is factual, right? I mean, hell, like, there's another guy in the group who I can't name, who just went full time. Like, it shocked the crap out of me. And I was ecstatic. And look, I'm estimating too, within the next 6 months, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 people, including Eli, who I think are about 6 months away from walking out of their job and doing this at a high level, And the one thing I love about Eli, too, is his mentality to make the change. I had to talk with him because when I was in sales, my mentor always said when I got into a sales funk, remember what success looks like, right? He goes, close your eyes, go back to that sale that you just love, that soul that was the most genuine. Picture that. Now go into every single sales scenario to where that's the case, right? And I did that. I had one of the best sales weeks ever. And it's the same thing with trading, and it's the same thing I told Eli. What? And again, I don't answer the question for anyone. I make them answer it themselves. Like, hey, what were you doing when you were kicking butt? He told me. I said, okay, do that. Don't stop. And that's it. So, shout out to the guy who just went full time, man. I'm like legitimately proud of him. He's a gentleman that had his butt handed to him before and just didn't stop. And the cool part about it is these guys in the group, they see my kids, they see my wife, because the group is tight knit. And the first thing he did when he said, I'm full-time trading now, I called Priscilla. I was like, yo, so-and-so is full-time trading now. And it's a joy, right? It's one of the best feelings in the world. I can't take credit for that because that's his chart time and his hard work. But again, people are just doing stuff but first, and that's why it's not working out.
Yeah,
let me finish this real quick.
On,
with you, you need to quit hopping around, right? You have to quit hopping around. You have to say, hey, this is what I have the most success with. This is what I'm going to stick with. And one of the guys in the groups, his fiance slapped him in the face. Give it 100. Give it 100 sample size, right? And he's like, oh, and she doesn't trade. I think it's an inside joke. I think she can be, and this is not actually a joke, she can be better than all of us because she saw one of the videos and literally started calling trades. And she goes, oh, it's going to go down here. Oh, it's going to go up here. She hasn't lost a trade yet because there was no BS information about price patterns and all that other stuff, right? I'm trying to get her to trade, man. She's going to be a legend if she does decide to trade, but she's a beast at what she does in real life. So just stick to something that was yielding you the most success. You do not need to overhaul everything it is that you do. Discipline yourself. And that's what you're missing. I think, Cam, if you disciplined yourself and don't change up your style based off what I teach, I showed you one of the setups from the course. Before the course was released, you had really good success with that setup, and then you backed away from it. Just don't do it.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, look, it's and I think that comes back to the fact that I haven't done my 100 sample size. I just haven't done it, right? In the back tests, I'll be honest, I've either like first trade, I mark it all up. Yep, it's ready. Okay. Oh, didn't work. Okay. Okay, we'll go to the next one. And then what I'll do is I'll end up going, okay, well, let's get to the next one. Oh, what about this one? Oh, and next minute I'm like, my back test has gone. It's like somebody's got the foot on the accelerator, and I've gone from slowly and methodically going through the back test to trying to get through as much chart as possible and entering trades when the thing's like flying through. And I'm not doing it. I'm not doing 100 sample size. I might do sort of 15, 20, and then by the time I've done 20, I'm like, I'm not even close to the original strategy that I had. I'm like, just started doing whatever.
Right. And you don't necessarily, and the thing is too, to get rid of those emotions, watch price. Don't trade it. Say, okay, I would enter here. Because then now you put your emotional bias on the charts, which the charts don't give a crap about. Just watch it. Say, okay, I'd enter here. See what happens. With a calm mind, because the market doesn't give a crap about your issues, doesn't give a crap about my issues or anyone else's issues, right? I'd enter here. See what happens, right? And then you reverse engineer what happened, right? You got to get in a winning rhythm. And it's crazy to say that, but you do, right? Sometimes you have to reverse engineer your winning trades, right? And there it goes. Oh, yeah, I remember what success is. All going to come back to remembering what success looks like or learning the truth. Now, you know the truth about price. You have all the information. It's literally like up to you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's so true. It's like, it's just about executing the strategy. Okay, well, let's put this out there. So the method that I got to like a couple of weeks ago, it was a method I had 18 months ago, and I was really happy about it. I was confident. I was like, here we go. This is it. The bank balance is just going to go explode from here on in. And then I moved from backtesting, not on a backtester, but on just, marking up charts, to the live market. And all of a sudden, my setup sort of disappears, or I find all these false signals. Like, it looks like this is an entry, but it's not. Or this was the setup, but it's not. And then, I mean, what's your sort of view on that? Have I got the setup wrong, or do I need to add more to it, or do I need to? Because that's where I get to. I get to the point where it's like I'm now entering trades that, okay, in hindsight, I look at the price action and go, "Oh no, that would have been a better entry," but it looked like an entry at the time. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does.
How do I get around that?
See, you have to figure out who you are as a trader, because here's the thing. There's so many different ways, and there's so many different ways to trade profitably based off how price works, right? You have to pick which element of that you want to trade, and once that appears, that's your unique setup. People also underestimate the power of a trend line break, and that's something I go over and over and over again, because you've seen one of the other guys in the group who uses nothing more than a trend line break, right?
Yeah.
And that's all he does. Why? It's simple. He's disciplined, and he kicks butt with a trend line break, because price literally pushes to the less liquid side of the market, right? That's his setup. But it comes at a key price. I hate talking about myself. I know that price will react to very specific prices, right? That's how I'm getting the trades with 0 drawdown, maybe 2 or 3 pip drawdown. And again, like I tell everyone in the group, I keep my stop at 12 pips. Why? I know if the market goes more than 12 pips against me, I am wrong. I am wrong, right? And you have to define that too. When are you wrong? I work myself to get to a level of precision to where I know within 8 to 12 pips. Some people may think it's stupid. It's true. You've seen the setups. They're all over the group, right? So get to a point to where you know you're wrong, and you exploit it, right? So the simpler, the better, 1. 2, the more based in actual truth, the better. That makes sense?
Yeah, and I think I've got the simple, and I think I had the truth before, and I didn't have the simple. Now I've got the simple without the truth, so I need to merge the two of them together. And the truth being what I know about price and how it works and how it operates. So yeah, I think that's what I'm missing.
That, and you're going to have to weed out the information from people who are guests on your show, because granted, they're going to want what's best for you, right? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because unless, yeah, you got to be able to distinguish if they're legit or not, too, right?
Yeah. So
you filled out any information that any guest wants to give you too, because does it really matter when you're at the charts for yourself? It doesn't.
No, and look, I mean, in all honesty, the guys I have on the show, I very rarely get given access to whatever their system is or material, which is good, because that's not why I'm doing it. And I've got to say, I mean, the stuff that I've learned from you is like out of this world. It's next level stuff, and I know I don't need any more. So it's just, yeah, look, it's a psychological personality issue that I think I need to work through, and I've got to do the 100. I've got to do 100 setups of at least one strategy from a manual point of view, and see if it works, and look at the numbers as well, and look at the numbers and go, I can honestly say I did that 100 times, and this is the outcome, and then go back and analyze the crap out of it.
Yeah, and base it in truth, no theory. And that's why most traders lose, because they go off of theory and not truth.
And what do you mean by that? Stop
runs, manipulation,
okay, right, yeah.
Even the elusive 200 period moving average. I posted a meme in the group about that, and it's just it was funny, because one of my mentors sent that to me, and I just thought it was hilarious. All that's theory. Anything you see, it's just all theory. Like, don't even.
And back to your point about the you've got to make it your own is very much, I think, why everyone struggles, because they
just want to copy.
Yeah, they want to copy, and look, and the funny thing is the easier things to copy are the sort of indicator based strategies where X crosses Y and blah blah blah, and it's like, oh great, all I need to do is copy this, and then I can, I'm a trader. But the reality is, I think, trading is a bit more complex than that. And so you've actually sort of got to come up with something that you can see yourself and just feels right. And the example being that the strategy that I learned through the guys in the group, I mean, I looked at it and I looked at a couple of charts and I was like, you know what, I can't really see it. I just can't really see it. So therefore...
Then you move on.
Yeah, I had to move on. And I was like, even though it's like, this guy's, I don't know what he's on now, but he had extortionate growth, just ridiculous growth. And I was like, even though I know that, I just can't see it. And so therefore, I've just got to go back to what I know and what I feel sort of comfortable doing, which I think, because I keep changing it, that's not helping. And I've just got to stick with the one that I had 18 months ago, which I had like literally 2 weeks ago, which I've now sort of put to one side, which I need to go back to and maybe even sit down with you on and just go, right, this is exactly what I'm doing. What can I do slightly differently so that I don't deviate from the path that I'm on?
Right, exactly. And it's funny too because again, it's the simpler the better. Because I've gone back to simplicity, to super simplicity. I don't even care for volume profile anymore. But again, it's non-biased information, right? Which I think is something that that's probably the only indicator people can use. But again, people aren't going to use it correctly because they're going to try to play trading superhero and call tops and bottoms and then get burned. When they should really be trying to decipher, not even trend, because trend is relative, right? Trend is relative to where price is at in the here and now. Your best bet is attempting to find either the daily direction, the weekly direction, the monthly direction, or the yearly direction, and find areas where you need to enter. That's it.
One theory I had just the last couple of days was, I think it might have been yesterday actually. I was just sitting down and I was like, you know what? I think it's black and white in terms of you're either successful at this or you're not. Mm-hmm. There's no in between. Is that sort of a true reflection? So it could be the fact that like one day, you don't get it, and then the next day something changes and you get it, and then you just make sure you sort of keep in that state for long enough to the point where you can never go back to the other state. Is that sort of how it works?
Run it by me one more time because I did not catch it.
So like it's black and white. You're either a successful trader or you're not. There's no sort of in between. Like if you're in between, you're gradually sort of just running down an account over a longer period of time, which means you're not successful. Or if you have success and then for a short period of time and then it just drops away, it means that and you go back to negative balance and there's it goes up and then it goes back down below. The reality is you haven't quite cracked it.
The thing too is, what are you doing with price, right? Like most people are dumb, and I mean that in the most respectful way possible. Because that's too specific of an example. Don't take a large amount of money. Like I've seen and heard of people taking $500K when they don't have it, or it's their life savings, and putting it in the market and thinking that they're God's gift to trading. And again, I can speak from experience because I'm going to be blunt. Right before you interviewed me, and I've told you the story, I ran an account to $387,000 from a very small percentage, right? Thought it was God's gift to trading. Guess what happened? Over the course of 2 days, I lost $200,000, right? Guess what that taught me? You know what that taught me? I'm not God's gift to trading. I don't move the market. So then the lesson, the very expensive lesson is I need to chill out, right? And I need to go with what I know, right? And no ego, get in the flow of price, right? You don't need to take a $200,000 loss to be a good trader. You don't. But if you don't let your losses mold you into the trader that you see yourself being, then again, I will never tell anyone that they cannot be a trader, because that's not true. I think anyone, if they learn the right things and they actually learn how to execute, can do it. Because it's just like telling someone, hey, you can't ride a bike. Well, all you got to do is learn, right? It's very logical. All you got to do is learn, and bam, you rode a bike. Oh, you can't swim. Well, just learn, right? And that's probably a bad analogy because my scary butt has never learned how to swim. But it's true, right? It's true. All I got to do is learn. If I want to do it, I just don't want to do it. I'm scared of water. And that's the actual truth. That's why I haven't learned how to swim. I don't want to get in the water.
I'll teach you how to swim.
You probably won't, Cam, because once the water hits the top of my chest, I'm done. I'm not going any further because that's my safety net.
You're like my wife. She's the same. She doesn't like putting her head under the water. She hates it.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah. Look, I think that answers my question, guys. If you sort of replay that back, you should be able to get the answer there, which is, you can actually be a trader. You can be a successful trader, and you can still completely have a disastrous 2 days and do yourself over, but you haven't actually lost anything. It was just emotions got out of control, and it's probably pretty easy to do if you don't put a stop loss, or if you keep moving your stop loss for 1 day for whatever reason. That's, it's detrimental. We've had other guys on the show exactly the same. I remember Andy Demi had the same thing where he essentially just ripped the sort of bottom out of his account over the course of a couple of days or a couple of weeks. So yeah, it makes sense. Okay, but I still think that, yeah, you got to that point where it was like, okay, now I've basically worked out what I need to do to make money doing this, and you work that out, and then it just sort of.
Well, let me reverse that question, because it's not even about making money. You know what it's about? It's about mastering your craft. Like, screw the money, right?
Yeah.
I look at it this way. I'm very, very blessed. Why? I get every day. I get to get up. I take my kids to school. I get to pick them up from school every day, right? It's a function of having the financial ability to do it, but it's also a function that I sat down and I focused in on mastering my craft, right? People will always, the worst thing you can say to someone who's self-made is, oh, it must be nice. Well, the nice part wasn't not sleeping. The nice part of it wasn't not putting the chart time in, the yelling at a $20 bill, which is probably something you've never heard. The new listeners have never heard on the show, right? They weren't there for that, right? But if you're willing to put yourself through all that, make adjustments, and you have to ask yourself, are you trading for the love of trading, or are you trading for money? If you're trading for money, you're probably going to lose, right? Look at Chris Laurie, right? Guy probably doesn't need to trade another day in his life, but he still does it because he loves it, right? Look at Nick. Nick probably doesn't need to trade another day in his life, but why does he do it? They are attached to missions. My other mentor, that guy does not need to trade another day in his life, but he gets up, goes to work every day at his firm, and kicks butt because he loves what he does. Not about, like, I was telling one of the guys in the group, who was more of a friend than the guy in the group, that even once I hit my number goal, as far as the goal I have set in my head, I'm still going to trade. It's something about just seeing price print and go in your direction, or even against your direction, that's just like this beautiful work of art. And it's the same feeling that you get when you love a child or your spouse. Like, I get that from trading. I love it wholeheartedly. If you don't feel that way about it, then you probably should reconsider and find something that you are passionate about and go that route. It'll probably be easier. The same kind of struggles and obstacles to get to where you want to be, but it'll be easier because it's something you love to do.
Definitely. Cool. Well, look, I think we've touched on all 3 points that we were going to go over: manipulation, trading educators, and my trading. Was there something else we're going to talk about?
Cam, I have no clue, but I do want to send a shout out to the guy who just went full time. I'm very, very, very happy for him. Extremely. it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. I'm so happy for him. And anyone else in my group, man, even the jerks that try to come in and rent information, I just want to see them successful. That's it.
And so just this guy that's gone full time. I mean, is there anything you can say? Because I know that like he doesn't want to be known and all this sort of stuff. But is there anything you could tell us about like his journey that might help the guys out there? Like some of the differences that some of the different things he did compared to what I'm doing at the moment.
The losses didn't affect him. He stayed the path. And he never stopped. But the thing is, again, he didn't beat a dead horse, right, by trading the same kind of style over and over again. He ran with what made him successful as far as, like, trading style. The funny thing is, every one of the guys in the group, and guys right now, that are gearing up to trading full-time, we look at price very differently, but we take the same trades. Very differently, but we take the same trades. And it just goes to show, and I probably said this on your show before, it's like glasses. I can't put my wife's glasses on and have the same vision and vice versa. Doesn't matter. As long as you know the truth about price, you tweak it to your perception. And that's all he did. And he's stubborn enough and probably just like me, naive enough to believe in himself and to not quit.
And I think like it just reminds me of I was driving down the road taking my kids to school the other day, and I missed the turn off that we were going to take the shortcut and miss all the traffic. And we said the day before, let's do this, and I was like, yep, okay, we'll do it. And then we talked about it at the start of the journey. Then somebody spoke to me, and my subconscious took over, and I headed down the route we always went where we hit the traffic. And then my daughter's like, you missed it. And I'm like, it's the subconscious has just taken over, and this is the normal route, right? It's like, well, don't you think when you're driving? I'm like, no, I don't think at all. And I think at that point I sort of realized, and I think I heard something else somewhere else, that's what the chart time essentially does. It's like learning. It's like learning to drive. I was trying to explain to them. It's like when you learn to drive, you learn at the start. You think about it. At the end, you don't, because you just know. You can just read the road. You can just see price and how it's going to react to whatever your system is, and then that's where you feel confident that you know what you're doing. You know what's going to happen. You're not going to win every trade, but you're going to win the ones that you want to win and you think you should win. So yeah, I think, I don't know how I got to that, but anyway, I think it sort of relates back to the fact that this guy obviously put in the time to build up his subconscious and understand exactly how he was doing, what he was doing.
And another thing too, don't take it to a subconscious level, because it has nothing to do with, it's a habit, right? Don't look at it as a subconscious thing, because then what happens, you think that it's this crazy, complicated process. Think of it as a habit, building a new habit, right? And then eventually it becomes ingrained in you, right?
Yeah.
But just for starting off, it's a habit, right? Build the correct habits.
Right, yeah.
Right, because again, when you start talking about trading psychology, that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother world that doesn't need to be explained.
So is the habit?
It's all horseshit. Yeah, it's all crap.
Yeah.
Because, like I've said it before, I know some pro traders. They're alcoholics and drug users. So, does the market care about their vices and their issues? No. But do they make it happen? They make it happen. Because what happened? What is it a function of? It's only a function of execution. That's it. It's all it's a function of.
Cool. Brilliant. Well, look, let's leave it there, Andre. It's been fantastic getting you on the show and just having a raw discussion. Hopefully, you guys out there listening took something away. Look, I know you would have taken something away. And then
let me say a disclaimer. I'm not saying by any means that past guests are wrong in anything, especially VP. I think VP is good, right, at what he does. I think he's good at what he does. I do enjoy his content on YouTube. Do I use it? No. I just enjoy trading stuff. So I don't want anyone to say that, Andre's anti this person or Andre's anti that person. It's not that. It's if none of the indicator based stuff and all this other stuff works for you, you need to learn the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
I wholeheartedly appreciate anyone who gives back to the trading community like that, because it's rare.
Yeah, and I think that's why VP basically, he just wanted to give back. He just was sick of seeing the stuff that you're seeing out there as well, and everyone else is getting, I suppose, burned on, and just wanted to give back. And look, it's just, I think it's really good for everyone just to have different views and then come away with, as we said before, whatever works for you, whatever you feel is the best thing that you resonate with. If you resonate with manipulation, then use it to your advantage. If you don't, then look at the alternatives. It's up to you as the individual to work out what way you want to go. So nobody, as we've heard on all these shows, nobody is like correct in terms of this is the way the market works. This is how everyone has to trade. Otherwise, it's not going to work for you. It depends on it really just depends. And I remember a guy back in 52 Traders. His name was 50 Pips, and literally every single answer was it depends. and I think that's
what? A lot of my students are going to get annoyed with that, because what do I tell them all the time? It depends. Yeah. But no, that's another guy. I actually do follow him on Twitter because I think he's reputable, and I do subscribe to VP's YouTube channel because I think it's great.
And just lastly, so I know you had a lot of family sort of things going on and that, and you were trimming down the number of guys you're letting on board to Chart Artist Trading. I mean, what's the story now? Have you got any spots going or?
I'm selective now because, I don't trust people. So if anyone does want to come on board, I think we have some pre-recorded content too that we can probably send out that goes over everything that's in the price course. Just email me, Andre@chartartisttrading.com. We'll talk. And the point of the talk is we got to see if we vibe. If we don't vibe, you think I'm a jerk because I can be one, or if I think you're going to come into my group and rent information and run, I'm not going to accept you in. And it's not even me trying to accept you, because that's not what it's about. It's about I'm letting people into my life, right? And that's a big deal for me. That's a big deal. And it's not even about bringing a bunch of people into the group. I don't care. I legitimately don't care. It's about, listen, the one reason I'm still mentoring to this day is my wife. And because every time I think about shutting the group down is because she says, remember what you went through. That's why I haven't stopped, right? Because I know it's painful and I know it hurts, not physically, but mentally. And if I can save you from that anguish, I will. But again, we got to vibe. If we don't vibe, then I'll recommend some people if their doors are open. Primarily Chris. That's about it, right? Because if we don't vibe, it's just best for us not to even work together. I don't got time.
Okay, brilliant. So, guys, we'll leave it there for the show. I think it was a great little show here. Well, actually, not so little now, 53 minutes on this one. So, Andre, thanks again for coming on and sharing with us. We'll get you on again, and we'll get Eli on in a few weeks and check in with him and see where he's at. I'm gonna whip him into shape because he's too talented to not. Yeah, he's too talented. I'm not. He ain't wasting that. Cool. All right, guys. So, if we want to check out the show notes, they're going to be up on TradingNut.com. And we'll see if we can jump on a little YouTube and chuck that up there as well. So go and check that out whilst you're there. All right, guys. Until next time, I wish you trading happiness and success. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that interview with Andre. Now, look, just a reminder that we couldn't make the YouTube video happen. But if you do want to see something a bit more real life, then you can meet me in Kuala Lumpur. Just a reminder, I'm going to be there Wednesday, March the 6th. And if you want to meet with me in person and some other traders, then send me an email, cam@tradingnut.com. Hopefully you get this in time. I know you've only got like literally a couple of days to get it. And if you do want to travel in, look, it's not that often that I'm out of New Zealand, so it's probably closer to where you are than where I am at the moment. And last but not least, if you can make it, send me an email, cam@tradingnut.com. But if you can't make it and want to follow along, then head over to the Instagram channel. So the Instagram channel, I'll be posting updates, photos. You're going to crack up when you see the hotel that I'm staying at. Guys, check it out there, Instagram, and follow me or any of the other social media. I should be on there as well. All right, folks, until next week, have a great trading week.